Munchkins and viewers alike, it's me Munchie and welcome back to a new rescue surrender intake here at Munchie's Place. My name is Munchie and I run a small mammal rescue with my team of volunteers for hamsters, gerbils, and mice. So first off, let me just say that this is indeed a rescue where we reached out to the owners to see if we can help out their situation and their little animal. And a surrender intake is when somebody contacts the rescue asking us to take in their beloved animal. So today's definitely a Craigslist rescue, and let us begin by saying the name of today's beautiful little creature, Aspen. Now let me read to you Aspen's ad first, and then we'll jump into what his situation was like at home, what he came in, and also describing why or why not the setup was appropriate. And the reason why I like to add these educational pieces in here is because some people are new to these videos or new to hamster keeping, and when they see a specific video, they might not know that the enclosure that they're seeing on camera is actually bad until I start to say something and make good points about it. So that is why you might be hearing in the future repeats after repeats of, well, she's already said this about this cage, why is she saying this again in this newest intake? It's because not everybody knows, so let's just give a little brief detail as to why that is. Now let me show you the ad of Aspen. It says, I am rehoming my Syrian hamster. She was born at the end of March 2020. She has not been tamed yet. She gets very scared easily, so you must be careful not to frighten her. She needs a big cage since she's pretty big and needs lots of space. Must be careful because she escapes. I'm rehoming her because I don't have the time and the sources to make her happy. At least in this situation, that this person was being completely honest, that they just could not make her happy, they could not see to her needs, and they felt like it was in the best interest of the hamster to find a good home. So even though it might be to you guys a very crappy situation here, this situation isn't as bad as what I've seen where people just disregard the animal saying, I'm just gonna get rid of it, I just want money, yada yada yada. At least this person does care. Small rehoming fee, 15, ensures she'll be taken care of. She comes with a 10-gallon tank, no lid, must upgrade to larger cage later. Now at least they acknowledge that this cage is not good. Now let me just pause right here because I do have the cage that she came with, and I have her stuff in here too, so my apologies I didn't clean it out, but this cage is just not appropriate for hamsters because in the United States, where I am based in, 450 square inches is the minimum right now, with my belief of Syrians needing 600 or more. The reason why it is 450 in the United States versus United Kingdom's that's 620 inches as minimum is because of the market and how accessible we can get these types of enclosures or to make our own enclosures to be the appropriate size. It is very hard, more is always better, but there is always going to be a minimum that people will gravitate to, and if they need to for their specific species of animal, to make that bigger when need be. But there should be a minimum because this is under the minimum and would not suit a hamster at all, especially a Syrian hamster. So this tank is 200 square inches, which, you know, comparing to 200 to 450, you might seem like it's not a lot when it comes to inches, but it is, especially when you see it compared to a 110 quart Sterilite bin cage, which is 450 square inches. And then comparing that to a 50-gallon, 200 quart Sterilite bin cage, which is the appropriate size for Syrian hamsters when having a DIY bin cage. But this right here, she did not have a lid, which is a very dangerous thing. Syrian hamsters can climb. They're not great climbers, but they're better climbers than dwarf hamsters because they do have some upper body strength, but they don't have a lot. Versus dwarfs, where they really don't have that good of a upper body strength and they fall quite easily. But for Syrians, they can easily get out of this, and that's why she mentioned the hamster can escape, and she did not have a lid for it, which lids on these guys, I believe they're around $10. You can get them easily at Petco. And if she had done that, she might have had a hamster not escape. However, you would need clamps for those types of lids because they're just way too, like you see the height here, it's way too low for a Syrian. They can push the lid up, so that's why clamps are needed for 10 gallons. But you don't put Syrians in these. You just don't. You don't. But she did have in here a DIY little hide, but this is like a dwarf size hide rather than a Syrian. She did have chew toys, and that's the one thing that does not come with a lot of hamsters enclosures from Craigslist ads is the chew toys, because they just don't see a need for it. And whoever told me out there that, you know, they can chew through their seeds just fine, that's how they trim their teeth, that is one way out of many ways hamsters can chew to trim their teeth down, but they need wood. Wood is natural to them. You don't just go out in the wild and find hamsters and not find wood. You know, it's just like, hamsters need to have wood. They have other ways of chewing and gnawing down on their teeth because they're constantly growing. They're incisors, that is. A dish right here. And we got the water bottle. Now this is the culprit of a lot of escapees, especially to new-time hamster owners that don't understand. Syrians can scale up this. If they can scale up the side of a wall, they can scale up your water bottle. So of course this person probably had it in here like this. They climbed up their water bottle, climbed on top of it, and then escaped. The alternative to preventing this is to get them a shallow, like this one right here. This is actually pretty shallow, a shallow water bowl. However, they can get their bedding inside of here because they like to burrow, so you might have to keep it up on a platform that you have to make yourselves. Platforms are really great for hamsters that like to knock over their food dish or their water bowl or get like bedding in their sand, and it is really great for gerbils as well. That's why you see in the United Kingdoms a lot of people that have platforms, because gerbils like to burrow and they like to bury everything. Same with Syrian hamsters, they like to bury everything. So platforms might be a good idea for you guys out there who struggle with seeing your food dish sink into the ground and become the lost city of Atlantis. And we do have some more items in here, which this one right here is the food that's in the peanut pretzel nugget container. Now, no, this is not pretzels. You don't feed hamsters pretzels. Just too much sodium is in pretzels, by the way. There is the seed mix that does have pretzels in it, and it's just, I don't really like it because it's like, it's man-made food and you're putting it in a seed mix. What was it called? Like Brown's Farms, or, oh, I forgot. It's gonna be on the screen here, but anyways, they add pretzels inside of there, and I really don't like it, but they're at least small enough that it's considered to be kind of like a treat. But don't add excessive sodium. They don't need it, and it could cause kidney problems in small mammals. Anyways, in here, I can tell you right off the bat, this is Wild Harvest. I've seen way too much Wild Harvest to know that this is the cheapest food brand. And recently we did an intake that had this exact same food, pellet and color, and just, it looks like shit. That's all I'm saying. Next, we have the Citrus Magic Pet All Natural Foaming Pet Cleanser. Do not use this on hamsters. Hamsters do not need to be bathed. They do not at all. If you get them wet, or if you put any scent on them, you really will mess up their coat and their natural oils, and you can actually cause some very severe skin reactions. You can cause some severe skin infections even. It's not good, and hamsters, they have very heightened senses where they can't see very well, but they can hear and smell exceptionally well. If you put citrus, which even me, I hate citrus. I hate it too, like, it's too powerful in cleaning solutions, and that's why I try to avoid it whenever I see it on the shelf at the grocery store. But you don't put this on your hamster. If you need to make sure to get anything sticky out of their coat, you let them do it themselves, or you just gently apply lukewarm water to wipe it away and to comb it away, but you just don't bathe them. Otherwise, they can get pneumonia, they can have their body temperatures drop, and they can go into a state of where they just might not be able to come out of it just because their whole body has shifted from being completely fine to being not fine and close to death's door. So please do not use this on your small animal. I find it disgusting that it even includes hamsters in the description of some of these products. But moving on, another food dish, but in this dish we actually have the KT blend, because I can see it right here. You probably can too, and they've added mealworms. Mealworms dried do not actually provide a lot of protein because they are already dead. They make as a good treat, but not really good in high protein. You want live mealworms, and if you feed them live mealworms, it's actually quite fun. A lot of hamsters do like mealworms when they're alive. They actually bite their heads off and start chewing them as they're squirming. I know it sounds very bad, but it's so much fun to see because this is what they eat in the wild. They eat insects naturally. Crickets, they'll eat. Mealworms, they'll eat. Waxworms, it's too fatty, so I honestly wouldn't give them waxworms, but you get the general picture of it. And unfortunately, This is, gosh, I measured this a long time ago, but this is, I want to say, a 5-inch wheel flying saucer. Now, in the United Kingdoms, they don't really like flying saucers, but we won't go into that today. All I can say is, in the United States, we still accept flying saucers as being appropriate. It's just better to have a classic wheel, and if you were to have a flying saucer, it must be the 12-inch flying saucer or the 7-inch for dwarf hamsters. And we're just talking about hamsters here today, but this is way too small for a Syrian. Oh, this is awful. And Petco, and they sell this at Petco. This is a Petco You and Me flying saucer wheel. But at Petco, for the Syrian hamsters, they literally displayed the 7-inch wheel, the blue one, to customers. So having the displayed mouse or dwarf wheel, which they use to give to a Syrian, this is torture. They will not use this. These guys travel 5 to 10 miles a night on average in the wild and in captivity, 5 miles a night. They must have a wheel in their enclosure 24/7 that is appropriate size for them. So let's go back to the ad here, because you might be getting mixed signals just like me, where it seems like this person knew what they were doing was wrong, but they knew of appropriate care, but they just could not achieve it, which I will talk about a little more here. Also, a water bottle, some bedding, a bit of food, and a wheel. Wheel should also be upgraded since she is getting bigger and loves to run. Please email or text. I just wanted to say that part right there because she did add in the description that the wheel needs to be upgraded. Honey, no. The wheel never should have been placed inside of there. And the best part about this too is that this hamster is not a girl. It's a boy, and he's got the balls. The balls that a drop in the back. Boom, 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 boom. Bum 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 balls, balls, balls. So he's got balls. So unfortunately, it sounded like this person thought they knew best and ended up not being able to provide what was appropriate and correct for them. And I want to say the worst part about this too is that they really did care and they really did try, so it's really hard to kind of show you and talk to you about what happened. But a lot of the times when people try to do research and things like this, that they go to Google for the answers rather than appropriate places like hamster clubs and associations or hamster groups on Facebook, where a lot of the hamster groups are appropriate. Some give out really bad information, or some just don't even encourage appropriate care at all, and they will just allow you to post whatever you want. But there are groups out there that would be willing to help, and unfortunately this person might have just gone to Google and the first thing that pops up is hamsters need 360 square inches of floor space, which is way outdated old care that Google is still kind of promoting if you type in how much floor space does a hamster need. So inappropriate information is still online. It's very hard to get rid of, and sometimes there's just no timestamps, or people ignore the timestamps of being 2011 to 2013 when this information was relevant. Now it is not relevant and needs to be addressed. I just don't know. I mean, like, I like the fact that they decided that this hamster wasn't good, but with the information and things shown, it's like they just kind of half-assed it, and I don't like that. So I'm very conflicted, especially knowing that I was told it was a female and when I checked it was a male. But this hamster is tiny. Aspen is the tiniest little guy, and he is such a frantic fella. Now, at this time, I did get Aspen with another Syrian hamster that had a similar background as him, so I don't remember if this is what they told me, but if I do remember correctly, they told me that this was an accidental litter that one of their cousins had, and so they got a hamster from their cousin, and then they tried to take care of it, and this is what the result was. But they tried. They did. And unfortunately, knowing that it escaped and knowing that they just didn't have a lid for it and knowing that it was stressing them out, this is why the hamster tends to get rehomed, especially for beginner hamster owners. Oh, the hamster escaped. It's too much work. I didn't know what I was getting into. It's best to start off with just getting the supplies first, getting yourself properly educated, and then getting the hamster versus somebody just knowing that, oh, somebody's giving away hamsters. Oh man, I have to go out and buy stuff now. Stuff like that really doesn't work, and you know what the outcome is, especially since I've heard it so many times before in my 2.5 years of running this small mammal rescue. So thank you guys so much for watching today's video. Aspen is way too young and had to be placed into the foster care program here at the rescue because he just would not settle. He is scared, he is skittish, he doesn't want to be touched. And even though this is an accidental litter, this hamster probably should have been handled from the very beginning, and his behavior reflects that of either being mishandled, which is not good, especially when these guys are for kids, and if you try to get your kids to pick them up and pet them, it may cause trauma to them, which I kind of am leaning more towards he might have had a traumatic experience in the beginning, or he was just not handled at all, and when they attempted to handle him, they had no patience. So that's really hard. It really is hard, because I want to promote passion and understanding about these guys, and that's why I'm here. That's why I run my rescue. And when people say thank you for doing what you do, it's so rewarding, because I'm sharing my passion with somebody else who is just as passionate as I am, and they actually first got the appropriate setup and are ready for them to take on the responsibility, did all the research, told me what they've learned. It's wonderful, but when you start off on the wrong foot, it really is detrimental to that animal that you're trying to care for. So instead of just upgrading later on or telling people to upgrade because you couldn't, that is just putting the animal in a bad situation, so please don't. But thank you for watching today, and if you enjoyed Aspen's intake video, hit like to show support, comment down below with anything you'd like to say, and subscribe if you're new here and would like to become a part of the Munchkin family. And I'll see you around in the next video, and have a good day. Bye bye!